Ohio River Valley. A lot of Sasquatch sightings in Ohio over the years. He's got a name here in Ohio called the Grassman. Ohio Grassman. I don't know of any stories of Ohio Grassman right off the top of my head. But I will share with you one of my favorites that I heard not firsthand, but secondhand from the guy's hunting partner. This one guy owns some land just out of Baxter, Minnesota. A couple hours north of Minneapolis, where my hometown is. Out on Little Pine Road, just a couple miles out of Brainerd, Baxter. Actually, well, damn near in town. One guy owns some land out that way, and the other guy has a camper out there on his land. He stays out there from time to time. And so they jumped in his boat, went down Gull River, across the river, and was hunting out there on some public land. And he put up his portable deer stand. And the other guy had his stand somewhere else in the woods, just a little ways away. I assume they went out early in the morning, but this was 2 p.m., 2 o'clock in the afternoon. He had his deer stand set up like 30 feet off of the deer trail. He was sitting there chilling, waiting for a deer to come by. Oh, they were bow hunting, by the way. Heard something coming down the trail. He was kind of surprised that it was being so noisy. Because you really don't hear deer coming unless, I don't know, unless there's a lot of debris on the ground, I assume. But up the hill comes walking what he described as a giant hairy man. Now this is from his hunting partner that told me the story. So he had quite a few details. He said this thing come walking down the trail. And it was only 30 feet from him, so he had a good look. He said he was covered in hair, except for the face. This is hair, not fur. He said the hair was about 5 inches long, hung down off its arms. Its arms were damn near down to its knees, and they were swinging. He was probably just walking normally, but the guy said it took giant steps, like 6-foot long steps. And as it was walking, it moved along so fast. It was as fast as a human can run. So he saw it for about probably 20 seconds as it went on past. He had a clear view of it. It didn't see him. It didn't see him up in his deer stand because the dude was frozen in fear. He said he could see the wrinkles on his face. It was gray skin. Had a big wide mouth, big eyes, big flat nose. But yeah, he said it looked like a man, hairy man walking down the trail past him. Just kept on going. Didn't look at him. Just kept on going. He sat in his deer stand for 2 hours before he had the nerve to get down on the ground.
In 5 miles, take exit on the right for US 250, I-70,
So,
40.
When he finally did get down out of his stand, he ran his ass back to the boat. Didn't even grab his buddy or anything. Ran back, jumped in the boat, took off and went home. So his buddy gets done hunting for the day, walks down, sees this guy's stand empty, kind of hollered for him and shit, looked around for him. So he said, screw it, man, I'm gonna go back. Maybe he's back at the boat. So he went back to where the boat was, found it was gone. He didn't know what to do, so he had to swim back across the river and walk back home. Saw the boat there, and he's wondering, what the hell? Dude, what's this dude doing, man? He took the boat and came back home, didn't say nothing to me, left me stranded out there. So, he goes to the guy's camper and knocks on the door, opens it up. And there's this dude sitting on his... Jeez, these people. Get over to the right when you're turning. God, I swear, people don't deserve to have driver's license. So he opens the door, and there's the dude sitting there in the corner of the camper facing the door with a shotgun pointed at the door. And like Rambo style bandolier of shotgun shells across his chest, ready for war. Scared shitless. He said the dude wouldn't come out of his camper for 3 days. 3 days he was petrified in his camper. I would be too. Probably wet himself like a lot of people do. So, right a couple miles out of Baxter, middle of the day, other people must have seen it. I mean, that thing had to cross so many roads to even get to where he was at, let alone where he was going. Now there's a beautiful wilderness area a few miles from there called Pillsbury State Forest, headed towards out by Pillager, Minnesota. And I know that's probably where it was going, because I've driven through Pillsbury before, and it crossed my mind. Boy, this looks like Sasquatch country to me.
In 2 miles, take exit on the right for
Sure as hell, I'm sure that's where it was going.
and US 40.
They said the thing was just trucking along on a mission. Didn't even look at him. Probably didn't see him. Probably didn't smell him. He was probably downwind from the deer trail like a smart hunter would do. I don't know if they went back for the deer stand or not. They didn't go back out to look for footprints. I wanted to go out there and look for footprints, but couldn't get hold of the guy. He didn't want to have nothing to do with it, man. So that's a story that I heard from the guy's hunting partner. And his hunting partner didn't seem too fazed by it. He seemed a little nervous that maybe there was a Sasquatch running around out there where they were hunting. So anyway, there's a, we'll call it a first-hand share. And pretty decent details. The weather was good. So anyway, in Minnesota, like down south they call them boogers, Ohio grassman, Florida skunk ape, Minnesota Sasquatch or Bigfoot. Also, there's a little town called Rice in Minnesota, about 30 miles north of St. Cloud. St. Cloud's about an hour north of Minneapolis. A guy was out deer hunting and saw a Sasquatch out by Rice. I was pretty surprised. Also, there's a friend of mine named Jim, and he's going to send me an email. But he's been living in
Take exit on the
this
right
house
for US 250, I-70, and US 40.
about 2 years, and that's between St. Cloud and Brainerd, Baxter, where he lives. And he has something going on his property out by the river, and these things are invisible. He can hear them pacing him as he walks out there. He can hear him walking. He said, but he can't see nothing. He can't see a thing. He can hear it walking across the river, making a splashing noise. Can't see nothing. One day he was out there and he asked them, "Who are you?" And he started hearing footsteps like it was a small army of them. He said it sounded like marching. He said, but it sounded like hundreds of them marching through the woods in unison. but he couldn't see nothing. He didn't pee his pants. I would have. No, he's ballsy, man. He's pretty brave. He goes out there all the time. No gun or nothing, because he knows a gun's not going to do any good. How can you shoot at something that's invisible, let alone 8 to 10 foot tall? That most people say they have a gun, but it wouldn't do nothing to it anyway. So he's going to send me an email. I can't wait, because he's had tons and tons of encounters. He keeps going out there and kind of talks to him, but he hasn't had any mind speak or telepathy communication at all. Yeah, these people just gotta jump in front of ya, because, you know, they're faster than you.
From 1,000 feet, continue on to Lincoln Drive, then turn right to Main Street.
So next time I make it home for some home time, I'm gonna stop out there. I gotta see this stuff or hear this stuff for myself. And Steve on the Facts by How to Hunt on YouTube, he read an email from somebody with that same marching experience. So I told Jim about that. He listened to that email that was Steve read. And so, I mean, when people start repeating stuff that happens in their encounters, it's like, what's going on, you know? Pretty convincing. Nobody's got to convince me, though. I just, from the thousands of emails that Steve alone gets, I'm convinced, as well as he and thousands of other people who listen to his channel. You don't have to see one to be convinced. I trust my fellow man and hardworking Americans to be telling their truth. So yeah, that same marching experience. I couldn't believe it when he told me that. I'm like, oh my God, Jim, you got to listen to this video that's of Steve's. Somebody had the same marching experience. Now, I told him to go out and told Jim to go out and don't put any food out, but take some kind of trinkets or something and put it out and see if they move them around and see what they do with it. So he took a bobber and a few other items. I forget what he told me now.
Turn left to Main
But he
Street,
set them.
then, after 260
He set them on a log.
turn right to exit 4 I-70 West
And
in Columbus.
he said when he went back out the next day, one thing was missing, and the other things were set down on the ground in the exact same pattern that he had set them up on the log as. And like he said the squirrel didn't come along and knock those off, and they didn't land in the same position that I put them in from the top of the log, 4 foot up on the log to the ground. And I said, yeah, I agree. Plus one item was missing. I forget what it was. I'll find out when he writes me an email. He's on vacation right now, so he'll be, when he gets back home and gets settled back in, because I told him, I said, write all this stuff down, Jim. Man, we got to keep track of this stuff so you don't forget anything. So that's what he's been doing. I can't wait. Plus, I'm looking forward to going out there, and I want to hear those footsteps when they're pacing him. But he says they're loud. You can feel it in the ground, but you can't see a thing. He's never seen one. One time he's seen one. It was sitting in a portal, half in
left,
and
then
half out
turn right to exit.
of a portal, and it was picking up something on the ground, eating.
Proceed south on Marion Street in 263 feet. Turn right to exit 4 I-70 West and Columbus.
So yeah, it was picking up something
Turn
off the
right
ground,
to
sitting there,
exit 4
and he
I-70
only
West and Columbus.
you can only see the top half of this thing
In
because the
900
bottom half
feet,
was invisible.
continue on to I-70.
So that's amazing. A lot of people have seen these things coming in and out of portals.
Continue on
This
to
thing-
I-70.
This thing was sitting half in, half out of one. Crazy. Amazing. But yeah, he's got balls of steel. He doesn't get scared by this stuff. If I go out there
Proceed
and
west on
something major
I-70
happens,
in
I will. I'll
17
probably
miles.
piss my pants,
Continue
man.
straight on I-70, then after 58 feet, take exit 208 on the right.
I'm a man, but I'm not a macho man.
Belmont and Morristown.
Jim, he's Superman, man. He doesn't. That stuff doesn't shake him at all. I even told him, I said, dude, you're crazy, man. You keep going out there. But, so yeah, I can hardly wait for his email. I can't wait. So, anyway, what else did I want to talk about? Oh, come on. I'm getting old. My memories fade. Too much partying over the years. It's finally having its effect on me at 59. But really, at 59, I feel like I'm 30, and I act like I'm 20. And like my daughter says, I'm still a pimp. So anyway, beautiful country out here in Ohio. Obviously, the Sasquatch know it. That's probably why they're here. I love sharing these scenery videos for anybody who hasn't seen this sort of stuff. But the camera does it no justice. You have to see it with your own eyes to really, really appreciate it. In Minnesota, we don't have hills like this. So people in the Midwest really appreciate scenery like this, landscape like this. And I tell you, to see these cliff faces and these layers of rock, it's just mind-blowing. What was happening on the planet when these layers were being put down?